Embarkation Hard S1, the only one of the 4 Southampton hards with visible remnants today, with parts of the concrete approach road near the basketball court on Mayflower Park. The purpose-built concrete ramp was constructed for loading Allied troops and military vehicles onto landing craft, primarily landing ship tanks, LSTs, for D-Day. It was initially used by the task forces headed for Gold and Juno beaches and later by US forces for supplying the Normandy beaches. Hard S1 was connected to a network of railway lines and improved road access, including Herbert Walker Avenue, to facilitate the rapid movement of convoys. The Sherman tanks in the film belong to H Company, 66th Armored Regiment, 2nd Armored Division. The regiment participated in the invasion of Sicily and went into action on the European front on Normandy's beaches on the 9th of June 1944. A week later, the 66th, as a part of the 2nd Armored Division, decisively defeated the German 6th Parachute Regiment and the 37th SS Panzer Regiment near Cantan. The 66th moved across France to the German border. It was diverted southeast to counter the German advance during the Battle of the Bulge, assisting in the destruction of the 2nd Panzer Division and assisted in capturing Houffalize, Belgium. As a result of its exemplary conduct in the liberation of Belgium, the regiment was twice cited in the Order of the Day of the Belgian Army. The 2nd Armored Division was selected to occupy Berlin and serve as the first American troops to enter the fallen German capital. An LST could carry approximately 30 Sherman tanks on its lower deck, with additional space for lighter vehicles such as jeeps or trucks on the upper deck. Before D-Day, Sherman tanks were often fitted with deep-wading exhaust stacks to allow them to drive through deep water once they left the LST. While supply movement plans and procedures were being developed, the Transportation Corps devised several special expedients for delivering essential equipment and material across the Channel. Specially equipped LSTs were scheduled to move assembled railway wagons to France, and rails were laid on the lower deck and the ramp was modified. The cars were loaded and unloaded over track laid on improvised shoreside ramps that could be raised or lowered with the tide. The LST was made fast to the tracked ramp, and the cars were pulled on or off as required. Such ramps were constructed first at Southampton and later in Cherbourg, the principal terminals for cross-channel railway traffic. By the 6th of June 1944, some 15 LSTs had been converted to ferry rolling stock. Actual ferrying to the continent began the following month with larger rolling stock, such as locomotives and tank, refrigerator, and passenger carriages lifted on Southern Rail ferries and 2 American sea trains which operated mainly between Cardiff and Cherbourg. An American Transportation Corps officer, Colonel Bingham, was in charge of the ferrying program. It may seem strange to the untrained eye to see heavy earth-moving equipment loaded at a military berth, but this machinery was crucial to the success of D-Day and Operation Overlord. The 834th Engineer Aviation Battalion received a Presidential Unit Citation, General Order No. 10 on the 22nd of February 1945 for outstanding performance from the 6th of June to the 16th of July 1944 for constructing the first operational airfield in Normandy. The Presidential Unit Citation reads, "Advance elements of the 834th Engineer Aviation Battalion were scheduled to land on the Normandy beachhead at H+4 hours on D-Day with the mission of constructing an emergency landing strip, but because of intense enemy activity the initial group was not able to begin its work until D-Day +1. Finding that the ground forces had not yet taken the site upon which the unit was to construct an emergency landing strip, the battalion promptly reconnoitred the terrain available, and within the space of 16 hours a new site had been located and the landing strip made serviceable. Without pause, the unit continued to develop the initial strip into a 3,400-foot landing strip which was usable on the 7th of June by transport aircraft evacuating wounded. For the entire period, the 6th of June to the 16th of July, this strip handled the major portion of transport air traffic between the continent and the United Kingdom. By the 8th of June 1944, pushing forward directly behind the advanced elements of the infantry, the reconnaissance group of the battalion penetrated to the site originally selected for the refueling and rearming strip. Through the strenuous and indefatigable efforts of the 834th Engineer Aviation Battalion, the first operational airfield in an important sector of the Normandy battle zone was completed and in use by the 14th of June 1944. Southampton served as a primary return port for Allied wounded, with thousands of casualties, disembarking from Normandy at Embarkation Hard S1, and was crucial in moving patients from the front line back to the UK in the chain of evacuation. for Allied troops, British, American, and Canadian. Casualties began arriving in large numbers almost immediately after the landings, with returning vessels transporting wounded men to Southampton before they were transferred to trains and surrounding hospitals. While Allied casualties from the initial invasion were estimated at over 10,000, Southampton was the primary destination for many who were evacuated back to the UK for treatment. They were typically transported across the Channel on returning landing craft or dedicated hospital ships. Seriously wounded soldiers often arrived in batches, particularly at night when convoys left France in the morning. Once landed, casualties were dispersed across the south of England. Many were sent to local country houses that had been converted into makeshift hospitals. The port used approximately 18 different hospital trains directly from the quayside or the terminus station seen in the film, to transport patients to inland medical facilities.